Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. My co host, Jay Christian Gary, is in parts unknown right now. But with us, we have Grant Bogdanove, who will be having a jiu-jitsu super fight at Kit 4, taking on Thomas Mietz. You can get the show on, I think it's pronounced Tiget or Ticket.
I believe it's pronounced Tiget.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. But Stuart Fulton pronounced it as ticket. That's how he's pronounced it. Because it's supposed to be like ticket, kind of.
Oh, right. So yeah, in Japanese, I think they actually do pronounce it Shigeto.
Okay.
But the
That
way
makes
I would read that in English is like Tiget.
okay. Target, ticket, whatever you want to call it, .net.
Yeah.
This Sunday, January 9th. And it's available for everybody. Not only in Japan, it's available. There's no region locking or anything like that. So yeah, none of that bullshit that sometimes you have to put up with when it comes to Japanese stuff. But Grant, thank you so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
First things off, gotta talk about your Rizin trigger win, Rizin debut win. Basically, you predicted correctly how you're gonna win. A little bit off on the time though. You're a little bit off on the time, but nonetheless, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I would say.
Yeah, what did I say on the time? Like 3 minutes or something?
You said I think you said I think you said 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Something like that.
But you got rear naked choke correct, and you got the first round correct.
Okay. Well, hey, what can I say? I mean, I said 3:54 or something like that.
I think it's going to be near the end of the round because you figured that your opponent was going to be a very hard guy to put down.
Well, you subtract the actual time from 5, and then you get my prediction. So how's that?
Fair enough.
Because I finished him in like 60 some seconds. So anyway, that's just some weird MMA math. But yeah, the guy, as expected, he was quite tough. He had some good striking. And I was afraid that he was going to do the rolling thunder on me right out from the get-go. And I was very timid because I could see it in his face that he was coming out and he was going to throw something crazy. Like I thought he was going to do a flying knee or the rolling thunder. But he just came and like socked me in the face once and then clinched me. And then when he clinched me, it was all over. Like, why would you clinch me? If I was going to fight me, I would run away and jab and just run until I got frustrated and rushed in trying to get the takedown, then counter. But this guy came in on me and pushed me up against the cage. I was like, it couldn't get any better than this, He even opened up my nose with the first punch. So he could have I don't know, a difference of tactics could have made the fight way harder for me, but I was able to get clinched early and then take him down and finish quickly when he tried to escape the mount.
Now, the way you did the rear naked choke, I'm pretty sure it's been done before, but it's at least the first time I've seen it done in a major MMA match where you actually locked, I believe it was his left arm behind his back. Did that happen by accident, or is that something you actually had? Is that how you normally do your rear naked chokes?
Yeah, so to be honest, not a lot of guys I train with or I have competed against try to escape the mount by putting their arm on the outside, So he had his arm around my body and then tried to bridge and roll using that, which I'm like, if you have that kind of power to do that move, then that's great. But man, that guy was small. I think if he really wanted to, he could fight at featherweight. And I cut a massive amount of weight. And I was huge in that cage that day. And there's no way he could have escaped from my mount using a power move like that. He would have had to have been at least 5 kilos bigger to pull something like that off. And so because his arm was there, it just got trapped randomly when I was trying to retain the mount. And be honest, because the arm was there, I didn't think I was going to be able to finish the first choke that I put around his neck. And I wasn't even squeezing. I just put it on at about 60% power. And I was going to wait for him to wriggle his arm out. And then when he got his arm out, I was going to shift completely to the back because I was still kind of off to the side. So I was just putting a little bit of pressure on, waiting for him to slip it out. Then I was going to go behind the back and it wasn't even under the chin. But apparently when I talked to the guy later, he said that like it was a neck crank and a choke, and also his shoulder was in like a lot of pain too. I think it was bent up back there like a chicken wing pretty bad. So he was like tapping to 3 different things at once. That's what he said. And yeah, he's a nice guy. Like I knew he was a professional from the start because he's a professional wrestler. He's not like these other MMA guys who are actually crazy, who might touch you and stuff, you know. Like during the stare down, I figured he was going to do something, you know, entertaining, but the whole time I could see it in his eyes, like he's a complete professional. I knew he would never touch me. And then after the fight, like the character's gone, and we became friends and stuff and talked about the fight. And yeah, he's a good guy.
Mhm. I also know that you said that you're going to call out Roberto Satoshi Souza, like you did.
Yeah.
You kept your word on that. Unfortunately, you didn't get the fight for New Year's. I went to Yusuke Yachi. But I'm just curious to know if you watched that fight between Satoshi and Yachi.
Yeah, you bet I did. I watched the entire card. You know, what can you say about that card? Japanese MMA at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
Satoshi and Yachi Yusuke, that was like a legit great matchup, great fight. The bantamweight Grand Prix fights were awesome. And then of course it's Japanese MMA, you know. You had funny ones like Shibatar, the YouTuber. And I don't know if you've been following that news, but
oh yes,
like
I have.
they leaked that that the 2 of them agreed to like not do anything in the first round and then actually go hard from this and try to fight from the second round. And they made that promise. And then like Shibatar dropped him. And he was like, you could see on his face, he was like surprised. I was like, why are you so surprised? I was thinking, but then later I realized after seeing that leak that he was like, wow, you actually like dropped me. We had this promise, right? Then Shibatar comes up with a flying armbar, to which the guy doesn't even tap to which later I saw that his corner threw in the towel and the ref like stopped it. You know, dare I say fixed fight, like that kind of crazy Japanese MMA bullshit. But the Satoshi fight, back on topic, that was a legitimate fight. And everyone, it was a foregone conclusion. You could even look at like Yusuke Yachi's Twitter before the fight. He was saying like, yo, I lost so one-sided, lopsidedly the last time. You know, this time I'm going to try my best. I've been given such an opportunity, yada, yada. Like, man, he was basically putting out on his Twitter that he already knew he was going to lose. And he did get better, much better. I heard from guys training with him that his grappling game improved a lot since he changed camps. But
he was also training with Aoki as well up until the fight.
Yeah, so you could tell that like Satoshi had a hard time taking his back and controlling him and even submitting. Like it was kind of hard in the first round, but in the second round, in the scramble, he just like got the triangle and got the armbar, and you know, that was a wrap. Yeah, I shot my shot, right? That's what you got to do. What am I going to do? Like get on the mic and just say, yo, thanks to my friends, family. Thank you, God. Nah, I wanted to say something impactful, just shoot my shot, maybe get my chance. But yeah, Satoshi's going to go fight in Bellator next. Like there's no way I'm going to get that shot. Even though on the pay-per-view, they did show clips of me about like 3 times during that pay-per-view. So at least they were, you know, somebody out there, some intern probably suggested it at a meeting. And then the Rizin guy's like, yeah, hell no, we put Yachi Yusuke in.
So it sounds one of the things I've been curious to know is because you've done all these catch weights so far for your MMA stuff is which weight division you were planning on doing. I thought 155 might be too small for you, and even I think by your own admission, you think that I think first time we talked, you said at 155, you don't think you could make that. I think you said that.
Yeah. So when this last one, it was at 73, which is 160. And that was quite hard. Like it's quite a process. You know those YouTube videos of like Cyborg in the bathtub?
Oh yes, everybody.
It's
knows
not
that.
that bad. It's definitely not that bad. But if I had to cut 5 extra pounds from where I was that day in that state, then it probably would have gotten that bad. I would need to do, Rizin, they came to me like a month before the fight, and they didn't even give me my contract until like a week before the fight. And they do that because it's Rizin, like, of course I'm going to say yes to anything without even knowing how much they're going to pay me, just because of the name value. So they can do that. And they do that with all their fighters. Like they gave Gomi the attention fight on a week's notice. So, and I know Gomi's getting paid, but so you kind of just have to take what they give you when they give you it. And if I'm going to fight at lightweight, I need like months to prepare for that. But having seen the welterweight bouts at the Trigger show, I am a firm believer that I would get smashed at welterweight and I would never fight at welterweight. Khabib, Eagle FC, 165-pound weight division. Kevin Lee, guys like Diego Sanchez, Cowboy Cerrone. I'm trying to think of anyone in Japan who would be good at 165, but like even GSP, like you could see GSP getting down to 165, becoming a 3-division champ. Like that 165-pound weight class, it makes so much sense, Why not just have it at 55, 65, and 75? Why have it at 55, 70, 85? But yeah, I would be at 165 ideally, but if I was going to fight again against someone good, I would need to do it at 155 and prepare in advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always wondered why massive jump 155 to 170, and like why that there's never been really until now. There's never been real. Khabib's the first. His Eagle FC is the first promotion I think to ever actually institute 165, as far as I know. At least
as an official weight class, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some like carryover from boxing or something. I don't know.
I figure from boxing, because boxing even has even more weight classes sometimes.
Right.
So I figured it would be more like that.
Yeah, Dana White has said that he doesn't want to increase the weight classes because then like the value of being a champion kind of decreases, right? If there's only a 3-pound difference, it's like, who cares? And you get guys who get titles in like 5 weight classes and it doesn't really matter. But I think adding one more wouldn't hurt. And also I'd like to see an unlimited weight division, because guys like Mark Hunt, and Brock Lesnar, those guys cut to make 265. So they should have, like every other sport has it, heavyweight is like, what in judo it's like 100 kilo plus or 120 plus or something, and in jiu-jitsu it's whatever the heaviest one is over. So they should have that in MMA too.
Now regarding MMA 2022, I saw your post on Instagram about all the things you accomplished in 2022 or 2021, excuse me. Regarding MMA in 2022, how's it look like? You think that you're going to be looking to fight in Rizin, or you're going to be focusing on jiu-jitsu or your school? What's 22 going to be the outlook for you?
There's actually already been some talk about fighting and stuff. Not much that I can say, but I'm more interested, instead of going into deep and pursuing that title belt, I'm more interested in fighting less frequently on bigger events. So rather than getting like 3 fights in deep this year and going for that title, I would rather maybe just wait for Rizin to come up with an offer, a big offer, on a big show and then consider that. Reason being is I don't think I can cut down to lightweight like 3 times a year. And I already know like how Rizin is, it's just a little better than all the other shows here in Japan. Yeah, so I don't really want to step down again, even if it means fighting for a title, because it's not my main thing. If I was like single, didn't have my gym, if I was just like me from 2 or 3 years ago, man, you bet I would be going after that deep title, like straight up, I would. But I've got too many other responsibilities, too high risk, too little reward to kind of fight like that in those feeder leagues for me right now.
Gotcha. We can talk about one fight that you have coming up. Well, a match at least against the BJJ match for Kit 4. Now this organization, I'm a little bit unfamiliar with them, but they've recently come up. They also did the art show a few weeks ago as well. What can you tell me about this promotion that I think it's your second match for them, if I'm correct? You had one earlier last year, right?
Yeah, so last year in August, I also had to cut down to 72 kilos, which is like 157 or 158 for that. And that was brutal because 2 months later, I was doing the same thing for Rizin, and my organs just like didn't work doing it so close like that. But that time it was an 8-man tournament, and this time it's just a one-off super fight. So there's there's a guy over here called Kenya Hashimoto. It's his tournament. He is a jiu-jitsu sort of news media type of guy. Up until now, his main work has been going to the amateur tournaments, whether they're small, like some local tournament, or big, like the Asian Open or Worlds. He goes and covers everyone, takes pictures, like writes articles, covers all that. Now, when the pandemic hit, all of those amateur tournaments went away, especially in Japan. Like it's so hard to get into Japan that, the international organizations like IBJJF, Abu Dhabi, they didn't come anymore. So what he did was he took advantage of this and started doing all these super fights in lieu of the amateur tournaments. And this is kind of like his thing. He said he was only going to do 3 shows or something, but it's just been going so well that he decided to do another one, which is coming up this Sunday. There's a lot of good matches on the card. I'm going against the Frenchman, Le Petit Prince. Let's go.
Oh yeah. So, what do you know about your opponent, Thomas Mietz? As you said, he's French. Also living in Japan as well. And I should also mention this as well, that there's a little bit of a connection between you and your former coach, Leandro Cusano. Mietz did beat Cusano in the match. I think it was for the Asian Open, if I remember correctly.
Is that maybe that's true. I think maybe they only fought once at the Hicks and Gracie Cup.
Oh, no, I said, yeah, that's
the
Gracie Hicks and Gracie Cup, and
yeah,
it was by points. But nonetheless, there is still a little bit of a connection between you two, and I'm curious to know, have you two ever had any sort of interaction previously? Either.
Oh yeah, we've had a few interactions. Man, this is hilarious. God, I don't even want to say it, but like back when I was a blue belt, okay, I was just a kid, and Carpe Diem, it's like his gym. Carpe Diem is the place to be in Japan. It's the biggest gym. If you're like a young fighter, you can go there and they'll like give you a salary to teach classes and stuff. It's really crazy. It's great because if you want to just live off of jiu-jitsu, you can do that. You don't have to work like the night shift at a gas station, and so you can train in the day. Like Carpe Diem provides opportunities for guys. It's like they got nice gyms all over the place, They have so many customers. The money is just flowing in, and the brand, there's carpe diems popping up everywhere. So it's the place to be, right? Now, 4-5 years ago, whatever, when I'm a blue belt, I'm a young guy coming up, I'm looking at carpe diem, I'm like, my God, one day I wish I could be there. This guy, black belt, carpe diem, kind of the face, right? Because he's a foreigner. He's like the coolest guy there. Blonde hair, blue eyes and stuff. He follows me on Instagram. And I was like, holy shit, like this guy just followed me. I'm a blue belt, you know? And so I followed him back. And then I even messaged him. I was like, yo, thanks for the follow. Like, I'm such a fan of your gym. And then I didn't get a reply. But even though under the message, it said red, he left me hanging on red. Then flash forward a few days later, I'm checking my Instagram again. I realized that I've been unfollowed by him. Common tactic to increase followers. You follow someone, they follow you back. Then to keep your ratio high, you unfollow them later. And I was like, yo, like, why would you do that? It offended me. It hurt me. And then ever since then, this guy, it's been in the back of my mind. And then he also beat Leandro. So that's there. And then one time at Abu Dhabi Grand Slam Tokyo, I'm a purple belt. This guy comes up to my group, my team. He's like, yo, does anybody have A2 pants that are white? His pants didn't pass the check. Like he had illegal pants, some stitching on it was wrong or something. And I'm trying to not make eye contact. I'm the only guy with A2 white pants. I'm like, fuck. I decided to be a nice guy and like lend him my pants. And then they came back all like sweaty and dirty and, you know, smelling of like baguettes and escargot. And I had to use those pants to compete in my matches. And then again, at like All Japan, I'm in the locker room changing. This guy comes in, he's like, doesn't have any shampoo. And he asks to borrow my shampoo. So I'm like, yes, here you go. I've been doing all these nice things for this guy, even after that follow thing. And we were supposed to fight at All Japan Masters All Japan Black Belt Open last year. We are in middleweight. And you know, they don't randomize those categories for the black belts. They like those people in the tournaments, they do arrange those. And he had like 3 dudes on his side that were like, you know, they're tough black belts, but not the tough ones. You look at the bracket, like 8 dudes, there's like 4 that are tough and, you know, 4 that are kind of like normal. And on my side, I had like 2 of the tough guys. And then, so we're supposed to meet in the finals. He gets submitted in the first round and I win the championship and we never meet. So I talked to the promoter. I messaged the promoter. I was like, yo, first I commented on Instagram, like, who wants to see this? And then he commented like, oh, yeah, let's go. And so then nothing happened. Then I DM'd the promoter. I'm like, yo, can we do this? And he's like, I don't know if Thomas wants to do it. I was like, you just ask him. He said on social media that he would. And so he did say yes, only if it's at medium heavy. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I understand it's after Christmas, after New Year's, everyone's got a little bit of weight. Who cares? Medium heavy, heavyweight, middleweight, doesn't really matter. It's jiu-jitsu. There's no punching. Who cares? So given all that, the Instagram beef from a young blue belt and a black belt, now this blue belt has risen through the ranks and he's a black belt. He can finally get his hands on the Frenchman and snap some baguettes.
Out of all those, the one that actually offended me the most was the Instagram one, because I have been a victim of that as well. And I'm always surprised it's people from all walks of life who do that, whether they're famous or not famous, who will pull the whole ratio thing. And when that happens, that feels like almost like you fell into a trap. And it's like, fuck, I can't believe I fell for that.
And see, the thing is, like, I understand you're trying to build your brand and like do that. And if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. But the problem is when you do that to someone who is in your weight class, who came up 4 years later, didn't forget, and now he's in your weight class, and now he's a black belt, and now you're in the same bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fate, karma's a bitch, bro. And karma's coming in on January 9th. Hit 4. We going in.
So I'm curious to know as well, this is going to be in gi, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, is it the same rules as the previous shows where if it's points and I think they do the thing where if it's a draw, they have first takedown is the winner as well?
8 minutes, sub only. If there is no sub, it will be followed by a 4-minute overtime in which the person who scores the first point will win.
Okay.
Now, if there are no points scored in the overtime as well, then it will go to a judge's decision. So, the tactics do change a little bit as compared to a points bout, but yeah, the rules are nice. They're good. 8 minutes is a good amount of time.
It's kind of like a weird kind of like half EBI, half not almost. I've never heard that it's kind of like a weird mixed type of thing.
Yeah, because it's a pay-per-view event, I think they wanted to make it submission only to encourage the fighters to submit. But the problem with that is, like, once you two guys are good, they don't think about submitting each other because it's so hard to do that. What they start to think of is, trying to in the first 8 minutes or trying to take him down and testing to see if they can do that. And then in the overtime period, executing the sweep that you tested in the first 8 minutes, right? They're thinking about winning the overtime, or not even maybe scoring points in the overtime, but just making some movement, making some action in the first 8 minutes, and then surviving the last 4 minutes so that you win the judge's decision. But to be honest, for me, I believe I can submit the guy. I truly have belief that I can submit this guy. So my objective, my strategy is to submit like in the first 8 minutes.
Now, I know you still are doing MMA training, and I know you do a lot of no-gi as well. How much of the gi training do you usually partake in in addition to all the other training?
Well, I've been doing the gi like every day, multiple times a day, as a part of, but that's not hard training. That's like just teaching and then rolling with my students. But I got back into hard training in the gi last month, and like I was quite rusty in the beginning after all that MMA training. Like it was not good. But this week, I would say this week and last week recently, I've gotten like my mojo back in the gi, and I'm feeling very good. And in addition to like my old self, now guillotines, rear naked chokes, anacondas, various facets of the MMA grappling game have transferred to my jiu-jitsu game now. So I'm quite a different fighter than I was before my MMA experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's one of the things that I recently went back to the gi as well, and it felt like I was literally like kind of like walking with 2 feet. I totally forgot so much stuff that I could do that you can do in the gi that you can't do in no gi. So and also not to mention the exhaustion. I don't think that wearing a gi is incredibly exhausting if you're not prepared for how hard. If you're a hard roller like I am, then yes, then like in a gi, it's like you're like exhausted by like sparring number 3 or 4, at least for me.
Yeah, that is so true, man. In gi, the grips, it kills your forearms. And then it's so hard to pass the guard in a gi. You can't just sit back on a heel hook, right? You have to pass the guard. And when the guys have a good guard, like sometimes you can't even pass once in 8 minutes, and you got to go, and it's so exhausting. For cardio, for training, like there's almost nothing better than rolling hard in the gi, I feel.
Mhm. Then there's also the added dimension of also the gi itself can be a weapon. And I know at IBJJF, or if you want to even talk about not even just the Rizin show where we saw someone get choked with a bow and arrow. I don't know if you saw that fight.
Ridiculous. Why would you wear a gi in MMA? It's only disadvantageous. Why would you do it? It's ridiculous.
So yeah, that's the thing is that with in gi in a gi match, it could become a weapon as well. So is that something you have to kind of retrain yourself just to remember that, like, oh yes, I can still still go for a collar choke, or even use the gi as a bow and arrow, or something along those lines. Is that something to kind of retrain your mind and your body just to remember that, like, yes, that I can do this stuff in this upcoming match?
No, I didn't really forget like that much, but the main thing was with my passing. When I first got back to gi training hard last month, I was frustrated that I couldn't pass, and then I started to use a lot of power and explosivity, and then still not be able to pass, and end up getting gassed out and frustrated. And so it's like, pushing the gas and then letting go, and then pushing it again and then letting go. And different than MMA. In MMA, like once I get on top, it's mostly like gas until I can get to mount. Because if you remain in a position above their legs, like you're gonna get kicked and shit. So, but with jujitsu, gas, step back, gas, step back. And then after like 3 or 4 weeks of that training, 3 weeks, I would say I got my passing back again, and I was able to like do well.
And I'm curious to know as well, are leg locks or anything of that, heel hooks, allowed in this match coming up?
As far as illegal techniques goes, it will be the same as IBJJF,
Okay, that's right.
brown and black belt rules. No outward toe holds, no heel hooks, no twisting knee locks. The things you can do on the legs: straight ankle lock, inward pressure toe hold, knee bar, calf slicer, banana split. That's about it.
Okay, yeah, because when I was watching the last show, I saw almost nobody going for anything that's like below the waist, any sort of ankle locks or heel locks or anything. So I just figured that all foot locks or entries like that were illegal.
Yeah, not a lot of people go for the legs in the gi. It's easy to get your back taken with that gi. People can just grab it and crawl up your back. So, but yeah, and I guess it's just not a lot of people have that style. But well, I'll say I'm a well-rounded jiu-jitsu fighter, so you may or may not see me go for legs.
And also, not only will you be representing Alma Gym, but there's also another student of yours who will be representing Alma Gym in the opening fight. Can you tell us a little bit about that student of yours?
Yes, my boy Yuya Aoki. He's a new blue belt. He comes from a judo background. He's a very, very good lad. He trains hard. He's a great help at the gym. He will be fighting in the opening fight. And I'll tell you what, you got to see that, because you're going to see something good. This guy's going to be a superstar. You got to keep your eye out for him. All right. Remember the name Yuya Aoki, just like Shinya Aoki, but Yuya Aoki. Going to be the next top black belt lightweight in Japan in the next few years. Mark my words.
Actually, that was also going to be my follow-up question, was being that you've had your gym for a while, you kind of got in the field of your students and all that, like who should people look out for, either MMA or grappling or anything? I think you already just answered that. Is there anybody else you want to give who you think that people should look out for?
So, obviously on this card, my boy Yuya Aoki, Hikaru Yoshino, he is a currently 10-2 in pro MMA. You will see him on the circuit again soon, within a few months. Keep an eye out for him in the MMA sphere. He is known sometimes to put the gi on and smash some guys in local tournaments with his MMA and judo skills as well. There's another guy, Shumi Saito, big guy, welterweight, young, has yet to debut, but when he does, he will be a new force in the welterweight division. Not even gonna lie, this guy's 19 years old and he's tapping out pros. And he will be in the MMA side of things. Yeah, and as far as that goes, I got a lot of students who compete. A lot of guys going out at these amateur tournaments doing well. But as far as the professional level, like, it's those three guys.
Okay. I also want to, before you go, I want to give you an opportunity to plug everything that you're doing, your social media, your gym, all that good stuff. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I've got Twitter. That's mostly in Japanese. In fact, my Twitter is exclusively in Japanese. It's at Grant Bogdanove, just my name. Same with Instagram, at Grant Bogdanove. Instagram, I do both English and Japanese. That's where I frequently update things. YouTube, at Grant Bogdanove. Facebook, Grant Bogdanove. It's just my full name for everything. Got my gym, Alma Fight Gym Life in Tokyo, Setagaya, Japan. If you're ever in the area, please come visit. We have a very good vibe, jiu-jitsu, grappling, MMA. We also have stretch classes. Stretch, it's like a new fad going around. It's somewhere cross between yoga and sports massage. It's awesome. Come check it out if you have a chance. And yeah, tune in, guys. January 9th, you're going to see this American take on a French guy, see who can be the number one leader of democracy. And yeah, it's going to be a show.
And then I guess you could also say the winner of this would be the number one, I guess, jiu-jitsu player, foreigner in Japan, probably as well. Maybe.
Are we fighting for number one gaijin? We might be fighting for number one gaijin. Gaijin meaning foreigner in Japanese.
I'm trying to think of who else would be. I can't think of really anybody else who's.
Well, there's a lot of Brazilians here who are good.
Oh yeah, the Brazil.
But the thing is, like, you know, me and Thomas, we're not Brazilian, so we're gringos, right?
Yeah.
So we're fighting for the number one gringo, I feel.
Number one gringo or Shiro Gaijin, maybe, I guess. What?
Yes, absolutely. Let's make a title belt. Let's put that title on the line.
Also, you should make a bet with him. You should do a thing with like Shibatar and Yuta Kubo did. You should message him online, be like, hey, you know what? If I win this, you have to follow me on Instagram. And if you win, you don't have to follow him on Instagram, but he has to follow you or something. Like loser has to follow the other on Instagram forever, and they can't.
Bro, that's awesome. I might just do that.
And then, also if I'm assuming, let's see, I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to think about all those things that happen between you and him. There should be some sort of like bets, like just like all that, like he has to let you use his shampoo or like buy like shampoo for you for like a year or something, or he has to like give his gi pants to you or something. I don't know. Something along those lines. Just, you know, there's got to be a little bit more stakes of it other than being the number one gringo gaijins in jiu-jitsu. There's got to be more. I always feel like there's got to be some more stakes in it. Actually, when we talked to Daryl Lukoku, he and Black Panther Bay Noah made a little bet between the two of them that whoever won would get the name Black Panther.
Wow, that is cool.
Unfortunately, Daryl Lukoku lost that, so unfortunately he does not get Black Panther. It stays with Bay Noah. So yeah,
that is a crazy bet.
So yeah, man. You got to do something like that, because then that ups the stakes between you two, especially the Instagram one. Especially because I know that you're talking about cultivating and following. He's obviously cultivating and following. You know, that's probably what you gotta do. Something like that.
We'll put a follow for life on the line.
Yes, that's what it should
like
be.
It's along the lines of the I love Jake Paul thing.
Oh God. Oh yeah. If you win, if you're to do something like that, maybe in French, it should say "I love Grant" or something.
Yeah.
I don't know French, so I wouldn't even know how to fucking say that.
We'll do I'll maybe put out the Instagram thing. We'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll enjoy the bet, and I'm sure fans will as well. And yes, you could see Grant Bogdanove take on Thomas Mietz, Kit 4 this Sunday, January 9th. Available on Tigetu, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's available for everybody in Japan, outside Japan. It's only 30,000 yen at this point. I think the day of it goes up a little bit more. So if you want to watch it and pay less, order it now. And you're going to see some great jiu-jitsu from Grant and just about everybody on the card. Nobody in this card is a scrub. That everybody on this card that they've booked is great at what they're doing. So if you want to see great jiu-jitsu in the gi, this is a show to watch. And Grant, thank you so much for your time again. We always appreciate it. And yeah, we're really looking forward to this and what 2022 has in store for you.
Thank you, Andrew. Great interview as always. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.